All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The 2023 NFL Draft is in the books, but that doesn't mean that it's too early to look ahead to next year's draft proceedings in the Motor City. And with that, one team to definitely keep an eye on for next year's draft is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona was busy making deals at this year's draft, which was highlighted by the Cardinals allowing the Houston Texans to come up from pick number 12 to the third spot in order to take pass rusher Will Anderson Jr. Now, part of the Cardinals draft compensation from Houston has them receiving the Texans' first and third round selections for 2024. The Cardinals are also in possession of the Tennessee Titans third rounder, as well as a fifth rounder from the Philadelphia Eagles. And when it's all said and done, the Cardinals have six picks in the first three rounds of next year's draft. Depending on how things work out for the Cards during the upcoming season, we will know a lot about how they plan to approach next year's draft. This is going to be the first season for the Cardinals with general manager Monty Ossenfort and head coach Jonathan Gannon, which means that none of these guys are attached at the hip with any of the players that are currently on the Cardinals roster, with the exception of who they brought in during free agency or who they just drafted. Now, if the Cardinals are bad for the upcoming season, then next year's draft could be part of their rebuild. Now, with that said, a lot of questions that Arizona has to answer. One is going to be, in my opinion, will they look to build around Kyler Murray at quarterback, or will they look to go in another direction there? Again, like I said, it's a situation where you got a GM and you have a head coach who did not draft Kyler Murray. And of course, the same goes for a lot of other people on this team. And, Kyler Murray just got that big extension from the Cardinals. He's in the process of rehabbing. He had the ACL injury late in the season, possibly will not be ready for the start of the 2023 season. But you look at his contract, and the real money has yet to kick in on that deal. And as far fetched as it might seem to some, it's not out of the realm of possibilities to see the Cardinals look to trade Kyler Murray, especially if you're talking about a situation where Arizona has a top five pick next year, or let's say that Houston doesn't have a good season and Arizona has two top 10 picks, or even possibly two top five picks. Would they want to go in another direction, a quarterback? You got a guy like Caleb Williams who is coming out, who is expected to come out and be the one of the top picks in next year's NFL draft. What would you do? He's sitting there. He's going to be a young prospect at quarterback. Obviously, he's going to come on the cheap as compared to Kyler Murray. The temptation could be there for the Cardinals to go in that direction. I mean, you look at it right now with this team, aside from the quarterback position, the Cardinals did not pick up the fifth year option on Isaiah Simmons on defense. Buda Baker, one of your best defenders, has basically sounded very frustrated this offseason season. It looks like he wants out of Arizona. So there is a possibility that, this team could go in another direction. If you're Jonathan Gannon, you could approach this season like, I'm evaluating everybody. And you want to see where they're going to go long term with your program that you are looking to establish at the desert. So in the desert rather, but I do think that the temptation could be there for the Cardinals next season to draft a quarterback if and only if either they have a real bad season or that pick from the Texans is bad. And I think honestly, for them to do it, it would have to come down to the fact of whether they would have the bad season. Because if the Cardinals are floating around 500 or better and they're in playoff contention with Kyler Murray coming back from his injury, and the Texans have the bad season and the Texans pick is still going to be a top five pick, then obviously you're going to say, well, definitely, we're going to keep building around Kyler Murray. We're going to use this pick to put another potential cornerstone player around him. But at the end of the day, if it's a situation where the Cardinals are the bad team, then guess what? I think there could be a possibility of them looking to ship Kyler Murray out of town and start over at quarterback, possibly with a Caleb Williams. But if you're the Cardinals franchise right now, this could be a crossroads moment for you. And next year's draft is going to tell us a lot. As it could be a make or break scenario. And I say make or break from the standpoint of, do you think that you are ready to contend, or do you want to scale it back and rebuild? We got to wait and see. But nonetheless, the Arizona Cardinals could be dictating things very early in the proceedings at next year's NFL draft. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There is also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.